Welcome back to Hoochos. Today on Hoochos, I'm going to show you how to make these. These are my cheap alternative to growers pots. They are a plastic pot made of virgin UV stable plastic that can be bought in large rolls, which can be made to any size pot, diameter or height, depending on your growing circumstances. These pots will reduce your cost of potting plants from $4.26 down to 15.5 cents per each pot. Not only am I going to show you how to make these cheap pots, but I'm also going to show you my updated version of how to make these. These are the updated version of my cheap custom grow bags, which I showed you how to make with smaller diameter tubing in a previous episode. Hi. This is the ginger and turmeric system, the wick wedge hydroponics system, and I have replanted it out with ginger, turmeric, onions and garlic. The system that these bags are on is essentially a wicking hydroponics system that pierces into the bags and supplies nutrients and water from a float valve which fills up the pipe below the bags. This means that you never have to water the system. All you have to do is keep that reservoir topped up, and it delivers hydroponic nutrient to the plants in the system so that it is a set and forget hydroponic system. I planted this out recently, and you can see here that all of my garlic cloves are now sprouting. This is a bit late in the season for garlic. And here I have onion, turmeric and ginger as well. The way that I made these grow bags is a very similar method to the way that I make our cheap grow pots. So let's have a look at that now. I'm going to grab a bag of perlite and we can mix up our cocoa into some perlite. Probably just a 60-40 cocoa perlite, and that will give us a little bit of extra media because I would have lost some media when I was cleaning the ginger and turmeric. It's also going to give us a bit more aeration in the media. So here I'll just be using a coarse grade of perlite, and this 100 litres should just about do those 4 containers. Okay, so I'm gonna make up some bags. We can make these any size, but I'm gonna make them to the width of the boards. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to the specifications of the bags in a second when we make up our pots. And I can just make up a heap of these. So I need exactly 3, 4, 5, I need 14. And this is just a vacuum sealer that I'm using to seal the end of the bag so that we can fill it from the other end. Okay, so now all our bags are sealed, we can mix up the media. Now obviously you can just use a wheelbarrow, but for me it's going to be easier if I use my mixer and add in my perlite. It's a 120 litre mixer, about a half full, so I'm adding about 30 litres of perlite. And we can mix it up. It would definitely be better with 2 people. And then we can just seal the bags up. And there, that is our grow bag. And we can just plant straight into that. Look at that, how good. Thanks for helping, guys. And there it is, a whole pile of your own custom grow bags. And now we're going to give making custom grow pots a go using the same material. So this is the poly tubing itself. It's 350 millimeters wide, but you can get varying widths, and it's about 125 meters. This cost me 49 Australian dollars, which makes it about 39 cents per meter. Now I'll provide a link in the description to where you get this packaging in Australia, but if you're in America, just look for a local packaging company and type into their search lay flat poly tubing. You will get clear and black options. I would recommend getting the black option to keep the light off the roots of your plants. Now at the size that I'm cutting my pots today, which is 400 millimeters or 40 centimeters, you can get 312 bags out of a single roll of poly tubing, which is 312 growers pots for $49. So let me show you how to make the growers pots. So I'm gonna make the bags 40 centimeters, and that should give us a nice amount of media. And we can seal them all up. For this step, you can just use any cheap vacuum seal device, and you just use it on the seal setting, which will give you a watertight seal across the end of your tubing. This is also the point where you can add in drainage by hole punching the end if you want drainage in your growing situation. All right, now we turn these inside out. Fold those corners into the center. So you get something that looks like this. The base ends up looking kind of like a square with two dog ears internally. And once it's filled with media, it all holds together in a nice sort of square format, which helps the pot to sit upright. There it is. That is, I reckon that's about a 15-litre grower's pot. And I'm going to do the same for the rest. So you've had a couple of sneak peeks at future upcoming system designs. Right now I want to show you how much media this pot can hold in comparison to your standard grower's pot. This is a 14-litre, 300 millimeter grower's pot from a local hardware store. This pot costs $4.26 and this pot costs 15.5 cents. Now, I understand that in bulk you will be able to get these cheaper. However, for the general population, this is the price they will be paying for a 14-litre grower's pot. I actually don't have my bags filled up all the way. I have them filled up about 30 centimeters. That is approximately the maximum height of the wicking action, so it would be wasted potting mix for me to fill them up further. I've filled this one up fully to show you how much they can hold, especially if you're using a watering from above method. Whilst this pot is wider, as I'll show you in a second, you can get poly tubing in a larger diameter so that you can create squatter pots with a wider base. So I'm going to empty our poly tubing into the grower's pot. I estimated that this would be about a 15-litre bag. I think I might be on the money. We'll see. I reckon that's slightly more than the 14-litre pot. And as you can see, once you're done with the grow media, you can actually reuse the bags. That is definitely more than 14 litres. Get back into the bag. So now I'd like to talk about some of the benefits that you'll get using this method over the traditional grower's pot. Apart from the cost, which is phenomenally inexpensive, you've also got the fact that this is virgin UV stable plastic. Now, I get a lot of feedback on my videos saying that people are very conscious of the plastic that they're using. The feedback is generally that they want food safe plastic, and a lot of the time they're using garden hose and growers pots to grow their food in anyway. But I understand their concerns, and moving away from the use of recycled plastic to virgin plastic is a baby step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. And not only is this virgin plastic, it's low density polyethylene, which is widely considered as a food safe material. This bagged potting solution is also massively customizable. This is 350mm poly tubing, and the poly tubing comes in anywhere from as small as 100mm all the way up to 500mm. So the diameter of the pot that you get will depend on the width of poly tubing that you purchase, which means that you can customize not only the height by cutting the tubing at different lengths, but you can customize the diameter of the pot to suit smaller plants like strawberries or larger plants like fruit trees. And not only that, any drainage requirements as well. When you are in the sealing stage, if you use a hole punch of varying diameters, you can actually add in holes to the base of this potting system to allow whatever amount of drainage you would like, a customizable amount of drainage. If you want a fully sealed pot, you can have that as well. By making sure that you seal across the entirety of the base, this becomes a watertight container. And that way, if you wanted, you could actually add in holes on the side so that it holds water in the base of the pot, emulating a saucer, so that the plants always have a reservoir of water. We might explore this in the future by adding in river stone to the base and having a small reservoir at the base of our pots so that our plants always have water and nutrient resources to draw from. Now, I am aware of plastic nursery tubing for plants. However, even at bulk quantities, that ends up being about 80 cents per each pot. And it's made of exactly the same stuff. It's low density polyethylene and it's UV stable virgin plastic. So if you've got the time to make them yourself, you'll be making an over 75% saving creating your own. All in all, I think that these pots are an excellent resource for growers and give you a cheap alternative to not only the plastic, but fabric grow bags as well. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Hoochos. Happy hydroponicking, and I will see you next time on Hoochos. If you'd like to see more about the systems that you've had a glance at in this video, check out the videos linked on your screen now, where I explain the full setup and running of these systems.